What do you think about this spot?
Of this spot,
Yeah.
Yvette has a pretty interesting collection of clothing and textiles, and it's amazing how much experience she has with just modeling and fashion and everything.
If you had to correlate a word or two to backdoor modern vintage, what would you say?
Energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Does that do you think is an essential aspect of what you do?
Oh yeah. I mean, like it's just bringing a lot of energies together in one moment. That I think that's what I'm good at. Organizing groups of creative individuals. Really.
Do you give life to your paintings when do you come up with a story, or what's your process?
I like to study. I study environments and like the people who are affiliated with the environment, and then out of that study, then I conclude onto what would be the most impactful uh, or relatable to the community.
So you're learning all the time.
Oh yeah, I'm a lifelong student. I take that as a way to expand my mind.
And is there certain individuals that inspire you that you go to for inspiration, or what's that process like?
Oh no. I mean, I don't honestly like. No, I already have so many things I gotta do. I don't like it's like whether I'm inspired or not inspired, I still have to get to work and get things done. So it's not about inspiration anymore.
So it's more about discipline.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it's amazing to like sometimes when you create. Everybody thinks I'm a painter, but like I, to me, it's more like I'm more like a social sculptor. That's the way that I see it.
Yeah.
So that's why, like, when I tell you that I study, and it's like I literally study a town or a neighborhood or a building, and then no, the people. Really, I study the people.
Yeah.
And then from outside, I'm like, okay, like, what if we put this person and this person in the same room, and then like it's gonna be interesting. And sometimes these people have been living there all their lives, and they don't even know each other. They don't interact with each other. But from outside, you do that, and then and then you call it an art show, right?
That you have the power of connection.
Yeah, a little bit. It's like a yeah.
So when you find these people, how do you know if they know each other or not? Is it because of your network, the people that you surround yourself with?
Because when I introduced them, I'm like, hey, you're from the same town, or you're from like right 20 minutes away, but you guys don't know each other, or for whatever reason are not working together.
So this community is super important to you then.
Yeah, I'm part of this is my community. I was born in Edinburgh. I was raised in the valley, but I've been away for like 10 years. And
What part? I think I saw somewhere on the news that you were in Houston. Um, I don't know, sending a message to the people, and you actually got inspired to tag a painting from Picasso. Is that right?
yeah, that's part of my story. I painted for a Picasso painting. But the reason why I moved to Houston was because of the university. I almost got a full ride there, so then that was the first reason I moved there. And then that's kind of like when I started taking my art career very serious, and I quickly realized that talent is not enough, to make it or to whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
And
You have to have something else.
yeah, it's like who you are, what your story is, what you talk about, like what do you, how much knowledge do you have, like um, there's really not a perfect recipe of what it is to be an artist, because I think it's different for every successful one.
Right.
But yeah, that's when I started really like conceptualizing the concept of me being an artist, and if I'm really gonna run with this, or am I going to be an art teacher, which was kind of like my career path. And it was like that moment.
So what was that moment that you came upon where you had to decide either this way or that way? One being the art teacher, and then the other being what would you consider yourself now?
I'm an art teacher, but I teach the world now. I feel like I'm in a different audience. I have to like I have a responsibility, and I have a mission, and I have like we're working with museums now and institutions of that caliber. It's a very serious thing. It's a responsibility.
Of course.
Where are you gonna leave for people who are not even born yet? Like some of the works that I'm doing, I'm gonna die, but those works are still gonna be here. So what am I leaving behind to those generations, right? So like, it's not just about painting anymore. Like sometimes painting is a way to communicate, and speak about art. But you know,
What was an artist that inspired you? How you just mentioned that when you're not here anymore, their work will continue. What was that artist for you?
I mean, Picasso, believe it or not, everybody thinks that I have something against him or nothing, but no, I actually look up to Picasso. He's probably the greatest marketing master of all of the art world, really, of all time. Because when you say that name, even if you don't know anything about art, somehow you know that name, right?
That's the first one that comes to mind.
Yeah. And see, like I understood that. And so you empowered that, I mixed that, I infused that with my message and the color gold. And then like, nobody's gonna invite you to the party.
So in a way your mentor helped you,
Which one?
Picasso.
Oh no, I don't see him as a mentor. I just see him as somebody that I learned from, and being daring and like, uh, yeah.
Yeah. And what happened after that that happened? You sprayed I believe it was a bull.
Yeah, so I was in art school my senior year in college, and then I remember one of my art professors walked into class and he was like, "Have you guys ever been into a museum and been like, what the hell is this crap doing here? Like, I could do something better." The guy didn't even say good morning or how you doing, guys. Nothing. He was on his own viaje. He was on his own viaje.
So you entered the class and he
No,
was
I
saying,
was in class already. We were
"Oh,
waiting for him,
oh,
right?
okay, okay."
And the teacher walks in and he's like, "Have you guys ever seen a painting in the museum and been like, what the fuck is this? Like, I can do something better."
Oh, okay, okay.
The teacher, right?
So he was like thinking about this on his way to the class.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then everybody was like, "What the fuck," right?
Yeah.
But I was like, "Am I gonna be this guy next year? Am
Mm-hmm.
I gonna be this frustrated teacher who really wants to be an artist,
Yeah.
or is this the moment where no, I'm really gonna go balls to the wall with my art game,
Yeah.
or I'm gonna be complacent?" And not that I have anything against art teachers, because all my art, like my art teachers and just all my teachers of all my subjects made me, right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had this great admiration for that profession. Like that's what I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
because I admired the people, the teachers who got me into the university. You see.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I remember I saw the movie of Banksy,
Mm-hmm.
Exit Through the Gift Shop. It came out about around that same time, and so that
And
happened.
for all those that might not know Banksy, might you want to explain really
Yeah,
quick?
Banksy is probably one of the most, if not the most famous graffiti artist in the world, right? And his work is sold in Sotheby's and all these high like auction, uh, you know, stupid millions of dollars. Really, really, really ridiculous amount of like. Anyways, um, so I was in art school, and then I just that little scene kept on playing in my mind, of the professor like pissed off and frustrated about, I could tell like this guy doesn't want to be here. This guy wants to be having shows in New York and like, look at my 10 big ass paintings, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's not, and he feels like life is fucking slipping away from him, and he sucks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not what he really wants for his life, and
Yeah.
and I'm like, that's not what I need to stop thinking like that right now, So I used to do graffiti at night, and I would go around town and I would paint some trains and bridges and just, but I would do it. I would never even sign the graffiti.
Mm-hmm.
I would just paint color red. So I would paint with color red, and that's how people recognize me, right? So, oh, it's the artist that paints red, right?
Yeah.
So, but I would do that for fun, just for adrenaline.
Yeah.
And that kept me alive. Like it was just like a sport or something. And during the day, I would go to school and go to class and blah, 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 and do my homework and all that. But so then I watched Banksy's movie, and I'm like, man, dude, like, why? What the fuck are you doing without painting graffiti in the streets? Like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
And like you're risking your life, like on this bridge. There's cars.
So how would you do that type of graffiti when it was like a bridge?
So, like, for example, this very like famous bridge, the most famous bridge in Houston, is the one I-45. Like right where you go into downtown and you see the skyscrapers and
Yeah.
like the money shot.
Yeah.
Like you have to go to this bridge, right?
Uh-huh.
And a train, also like a train goes through that bridge
Right.
on top of the highway, right?
Yeah.
And so imagine you have to go in there at night. I would go at 4 in the morning. That's when like the shifts of the cops are happening.
Yeah.
And everybody's asleep, right?
Yeah.
And then I would wait for the train to pass. And once the train passes, then you have a gap of like 45 minutes, right?
Uh-huh.
Because you can't just run up in there and then start painting because the train might come, right? And you don't know.
So you had already like timed it and everything. You already knew the schedule. Todo.
Yeah. So I would go and I waited. The train would pass by, and then okay, now I have my gap. So I go in there, and I have like an extension and a big roll, and then I would go and literally like climb on top of the bridge, and I would paint like this down like this, and like one letter was like as big as this couch.
Yeah.
That was one letter, right? And so you're up there, and the cars are driving past you like boom, boom.
Yeah. It's
Like,
adrenaline.
yeah. So like if you're there painting, like, oh shit, what if somebody sees me right now? What if a cop, like, or what if somebody reports me or something, right?
Yeah.
And then and you only have a little bit of time because the train might come. Like 45 minutes seems like a lot, but it's not a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially for doing a art piece.
Big ass fucking girl, right? So then, anyways, uh, if you don't, these spots are called heaven spots,
Why is that?
because it's called heaven spot because if you fall, you're gonna go to heaven. so if you don't die from like the 4-story drop, you're probably gonna get run over, and then you're also gonna die. It says, but it's just something cool, So I would finish painting, and then I would leave, and then the next morning, everybody's like talking about it. It's in the news. Like they would send the chopper.
Yeah.
Fucking Channel 2, the chopper's there fucking, documenting the graffiti, and then I'm there in class, and everybody's like talking about it on their phone and shit, and like I'm like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like
That's really cool.
but I wouldn't sign things because I knew how dangerous and like I can get in trouble.
So what was the painting?
I would just write messages like of love and like just a word, like a quote. But imagine that, like, imagine this is one letter, the C is
Yeah.
one letter. Imagine like 12 letters.
For that specific one, what was the message?
Unity. It was a unity message, and I can send you some pictures. But anyway, so the point is that I could saw how powerful it was. So I'm in this like city with millions of people, and I just painted this bridge, and then now, like by the minute, thousands of people are seeing it. Like, fuck social media, fuck, like, this is the real world. Like,
Yeah.
people are seeing it by the thousands. Like,
Yeah.
that was so
Yeah,
powerful.
because of the location where it
Yeah, like, forget social media, forget the news. Like, literally, like, whether you're on the news or not, and you have to go to work, you're gonna have to see that, right?
Yeah,
Like, you're
that's true.
forced to, like, see
Yeah,
that.
and it's a big city.
That's so powerful. So, anyways, around that time, my teacher comes. He's like frustrated about being a teacher. I see the Banksy movie. I'm doing the graffiti at night, for the adrenaline to get high.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Uriel, what the fuck are you doing? Like, like. So then I was like, if I really want to be an artist, I have to be in the museums. That's really what it's about. Those are the institutions that are gonna like take your story when you're dead, and they're going to continue publishing books and talk. That's how I learned about Picasso, through a book, or Leonardo da Vinci, or Dali, or Warhol, or Julian Schnabel, Basquiat, Jeff Koons. I could keep going, whoever, But anyway, so I was like, fuck it. What's the fastest way to put your art in a museum? Graffiti, you know? So since, like I said, I was a senior in college, I already knew where every single Picasso in Houston was, where every single like exotic work of art is in every single museum. I would hang out there. That was my playground. I wouldn't go to the bars. I would go to the high-end galleries and the museums, and I would go to all the openings, and I would hang out with all these like elite crowd, and that's what I like doing. Talk about art, like, oh yeah, look at this new Warhol, blah blah.
Yeah.
So, like, fuck it, I knew there was this Picasso that didn't have a glass, and
It was just
it was
wide
the only
open.
one.
It
Yeah,
was
it was
wide
the
open.
only one, and it was from 1932. And I knew this though because, dude, I knew every single museum, the MFA, the Menil, and like a bunch of other, like all the museum district. I have it memorized. I already know where everything is because that was my major. I'll go write a 10-page paper about this Picasso painting. Oh yeah, okay.
So you studied it.
Yeah, I already like back to social sculpture. So now,
Right
so now
where
when
you
you ask me like, okay, here, like we're here in Westaco, and I'm like, I'm also doing a social sculpture of the city of Westaco. Like, and it's just so that's how my mind.
Works.
Yeah,
when did you
that's my art.
when did you decide to do it? Like, I'm gonna do it today. What day was that?
No, so that we going back to it was my senior year.
Yeah,
And then,
that's when you're at the crossroads.
yeah. So then I was like, fuck it. And then I used to play rugby at the university at the time, Division I rugby with
wow.
U of H.
How was that?
And my friends, all those were my friends, right? So all my friends, one of them was a ex-Marine,
Mm-hmm.
right? He had just gotten back from Afghanistan, and he played rugby, right? And I was like, hey, so like I was thinking about painting this Picasso, and he's like, yeah, you should do it. Like, what
He
the
just-
fuck,
his
dude?
name? What was his
Like, I'm not
name?
gonna say his name,
Okay.
but instead of like being like, no, dude, you're crazy. Like he was like, yeah, you should do it. Like, but this is like a special forces guy who's trying to chill out, and now he's just playing rugby as therapy. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah.
anyways, and he's like, I'll help you. So oh shit, and then it just started. Like that's how it started. I'm like, fuck it, I can do it. And I started doing the stencil, and I started fucking Ocean's 11 type of deal.
Yeah.
Like blueprints and fucking everything. Like, and then, um, yeah, when it happened, like it was just easy because everything was perfectly like,
You scoped it out.
yeah, there was 25 guards. Everything was just. But actually, like the movie that I'm.
Rush. How did you feel? Like, what? I don't know.
No, look, when I painted the Picasso, like that little moment, it literally felt like, como que, like my stomach just left or something. Como que,
Had a
I
body.
and I don't mean to sound like, I don't mean in a negative way, in a negative light or nothing, but it's like, imagine when like when you have sex like multiple times and like you orgasm and you kind of collapse, but then like I'm serious. It was like some sort of spiritual thing, right? And then I remember when I walked out of the museum, like I was supposed to get on this bike and ride away because I didn't want to get in the car and be chased in the car. right? Like, and I couldn't even ride the bike. Like, I was so adrenaline shocked. Like, I had forgotten how to ride a bike.
So what did you do?
I just I grabbed the bike and I just ran with the bike like this for like a street, and then I kind of like gathered my senses.
So you were high for what? 30 seconds, 1 minute? You ran away.
Oh, well, I'm still high off of that, you know.
Yeah.
No, I still
content.
have to like, okay, this is my life, this is my story, this
Yeah.
is. I wake up and now I'm Conquista.
And then what happened after that? Like, did you became instantly famous the next day?
No, no, no. So anyways, then that night, uh somehow there's like a video upload, and I had planned an exhibition like 3 days after, right?
Mm-hmm.
And well, I had planned the exhibition for a month, and this too, and I was just hoping, and it was my birthday as well. So I was like,
Publicity stuff.
yeah, and I was like, fuck it, it's like my birthday, I'm either gonna be in jail or I'm gonna be having an art show, right? Like, so then I wasn't in jail, and I was about to have my art show, and I had stenciled that the bull and the bullfighter on my paintings,
Yeah.
right? And everybody was asking me like, what is that? Like, what the fuck is that, right? And I was like, oh, I painted this Picasso painting, and everybody was like, the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like if I was just saying some nonsense, right?
Yeah.
And then I would show them the video, and I was like, yeah, look, check it out. And they're like, what? Like, is that real? And nobody really believed it, right? So, anyways, the next morning, I remember I wake up and I turn on the TV, and I remember that was when it had just come out where you could rewind the TV,
Yeah.
right? Like the news, you could rewind it.
Yeah.
So the first story was graffiti over Picasso, Channel 2, blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember the video going from like 300 views, or like in 3 days, it was like 300 views. And like, what the fuck, Like,
Yeah.
who gives a fuck, right? And then I checked the video again, and it was already like at like 500,000 views.
Oh, wow.
It already jumped like ridiculous. Like, this is YouTube,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, holy fuck, I need to get the fuck out of Houston, right? So I went to my studio, told my friend, hey, help me pick up some paintings and let's get the fuck out of here, right? I just need to leave the city. So then we went, and then some people saw me there, and they're like, hey, I didn't see you. Like, everybody, like, I could tell it was already getting, like, hype. Like, people were seeing it. And then I called a friend of mine in Corpus, and a really good friend of mine, and I was like, hey, is it okay that I can stay at your house, right, just for one night? And then I guess he heard, like, my voice or something, and he asked me,
What did it sound like?
¿A quién mataste? That's what my
Oh,
friend
wow.
asked me, so I guess he could hear my voice really, like, tense or something, right? Yeah. And I was like, no one, no what they're not, but I'll tell you when I get there, right? So then,
That's a good friend.
yeah. So I get to Corpus, and then, or on our way to Corpus, I remember I asked my friend, hey, can I borrow your phone? So I gave his phone, I get my phone, and I just fucking throw him out the window.
Oh, lama.
And my
Like a
friend was,
movie.
yeah, my friend was like, what the fuck, And I was like, dude, please, like, just come on, like, we gotta get rid of this shit. And so then we get to Corpus, and then we're like, oh fuck, now how do we call my friend, right? We don't have phones. And I was there. Do you know where Whataburger #1 is? Have you ever been there?
Corpus.
The big
I
one?
think that one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah.
Whataburger #1.
Yeah. It's two
Two-story.
floors. Yeah.
Yeah, I was right in front of that thing, and there's like the ocean, right? And I was just laying there like this, and I was like, "Fuck! Like, how do I call my friend? How do I call my friend?" And this girl and a jotito, they are coming, and then they stop, and they're like, "Hey, do you guys need help? Are you guys okay?" And the girl comes to, and she like grabs my head like this, and she just puts her my head on her lap,
Yeah.
and she's like just touching my hair, like she could feel my energy too, right?
Oh, wow.
That was fucking weird. Some stranger,
Yeah.
right? And I was just there, and I was like, yeah, I just I need a phone, right? And so she lends me her phone, and I call my friend, And he's like, hey, I'm here at the Whataburger. You know, he knew it was me. He recognized my voice. And he's like, I'm here in front of the Whataburger. Like, okay, I'm on my way. Comes, he pulls up in a fucking, you know, anyways, he pulls up in a car. He opens the door and he's like, get the fuck in, dude. I already know what the fuck you did. You know, so I get in the car and I didn't even say bye to the girl, nothing. It was just like a weird, like some angel stranger just came for a moment and then just, it's okay. Here's my phone. And then and I didn't even say
Never
bye.
saw him again.
Never. So then
Wait. Did they have an Android or an iPhone?
I don't
I-
remember. I don't remember. I did.
Try
I
it.
don't remember that. Anyway, so then I get in the car and my friend's in the back. His girlfriend's driving, and he has his laptop and he points at his Yahoo account.
Yeah.
And I remember that night, LeBron James had won his first championship.
Oh,
This is how I
shit.
remember, like dates, right? He had won his first championship, and in Yahoo News they have the top 5 stories, right? Number 1, LeBron James wins this championship. Number 2, graffiti over Picasso.
Oh, wow.
Like, so I was like, holy fuck! I was already like, I'm already in a different city. It's already, and then I remember on one of those trips, on one of those cars, also like we were listening to the radio,
Yeah.
National Public Radio. Same thing happened. Like they just cut off the song and they're like, announcement: the graffiti over a Picasso painting. And they started like at the Menil Museum, and then holy shit! Like it was really like
It happened.
you could feel it. Like I was like, holy shit! Like this is really like blowing the fuck up, you know. Uh, anyways, and then I ended up. Uh, I asked my friend if he could buy me some bus tickets, and so I could come to the valley to Harlingen,
Mm-hmm.
and then so he bought the tickets for me because I didn't want to go in the building and be recorded,
Yeah.
right? Or I didn't want to be in the public.
You don't want to get caught.
Yeah, you know, I'm on the run now, you know, and then um, so then I was able to. He bought the tickets for me, so then I just got on the bus real quick, and I was here in Harlingen, and I ended up going to Monterrey. Yeah, I went to Monterrey. Once I was in Monterrey, I was like, okay.
Did you take the secret tunnel under the Progreso? There's a tunnel actually that
No, never
out,
heard of it.
actually.
Hey, don't give away the secrets.
No, there's a house in Westico, and it belongs to a lawyer now. But there's Al Capone owned a house in Westico, and it has the tunnel going to underneath the dirt all the way to Progreso.
Oh, wow.
Man, if I would have known, I would have told you take this house right now. Crawl through the hole. What an amazing experience.
So then you got back to the valley, and what did
What do
your
you mean?
family tell you anything? Your friend?
Oh no! So I was in the run for like half a year, dude. So then, in those next, as soon as a lot of people were trying to contact me. Like,
But were you running for your mom or from the police?
no, I didn't want to contact my family at all because I didn't want them to be.
Instigating.
Yeah, no, I didn't want them. I didn't want the cops to build some bullshit charge that they're like helping me, right?
Right.
Or aiding me, you know. So they didn't know anything about this. You know, I was just
I'm
all.
pretty sure your mom doesn't watch the news and stuff.
No, she'll watch the news, but she's not like, she has other.
Yeah,
She doesn't.
speaking of Uriel's mom, she's an amazing.
But no, well, let's keep it about the art. Let's talk about art.
Wait,
So-
well, yeah. Are they artists themselves?
No, I'm actually like I come from a family of musicians, so
Nice.
my father's side at least.
I mean, well, music is art in a way.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Music is the moral tonic,
Yeah.
like as is art.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so then about like a month or two later, this museum in Mexico City contacted me, and it's
But how did they get a hold of you if you were on the run?
through email, through
They
because
find a way.
I still have email. I wouldn't check email because when I would log in the internet,
Well,
it's like leaving a mark,
yeah.
right? It's like, oh, he checked in from this specific
Yeah.
building, right? So what I would do is that I would go to ice cream parlors or coffee shops, and I would just go check my email real quick, get on Facebook, do something, and then just get out and then leave.
Mhm.
And that's what I would do.
How many different phones did you have?
Well, I know just
Oh, you
one.
were
I just had one phone, but I would get rid of my phone or change my phone. I just need one phone. Yeah.
Pocket phones.
And then they contacted you, this museum from Mexico?
Yeah. So, It's called El Museo de Arte Carrillo Gil, and it's basically like the MoMA of like Mexico, right? So they're like one of the most exotic contemporary art museums in all Latin America. Like they own Diego Rivera's and they own Frida Kahlo's and they
Right.
own like
Legacy.
big time, big, you know,
Big times.
big boy stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and they're also under the same umbrella of Bellas Artes, which Bellas Artes is the largest art institute. It's run by the government. You know?
Yeah.
So, anyways, the curator was like, oh yeah, like somehow he emailed me, he left me a message, and he called me, and then he was like, estoy muy interesado en tener una exhibición contigo. Eh, you know, creo que es una oportunidad muy grande para tu carrera, la, la, you know, and he was really excited about my story.
Yeah.
You know?
New York Times was excited about it too, obviously.
Well, a lot of newspapers, right? So anyways, I was like, fuck this guy. He's like, you're working with the cops, you know what I mean? And he's like, no, Uriel. He's like, no, Uriel, no, Uriel. He's like, por favor, like,
Trust
te
me.
voy a hablar en 3 días. Te voy a hablar en 3 días. Like, considera esto, es una oportunidad muy grande. Okay, whatever. I was worried about the cops catching me, you know what I mean? I was like, anyways, I started studying this guy, and he's from Venezuela. And I started looking at his like past events and the stuff he'd organized, and I could tell, oh, this guy's like a little rebel, right? I could tell. You know? So,
Marxism.
well, I don't know his political views, but I could tell he's a rebel. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
so maybe it's true. Maybe this is true, right? So, anyways, he calls me 3 days later, and he's like, hey, you know, have you ever considered, blah, blah, blah? And I was like, yeah, like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. But, you know, how does it work? You know, he wanted me to give him the stencil that I had painted the Picasso painting with and ship it to Mexico, right? And he was like, no, dude, he's, look, I'm gonna send you like some paperwork, and it's basically like a contract and like a warranty, and it's like a blank check, like basically like you write whatever amount that this artwork is worth, and the institution backs it up, and if anything happens to it, we pay you in full, right? So, and I mean, I didn't know how it worked that time, so I was learning, right? And I was like, oh, okay, so they send me this box with a bunch of paperwork and stuff, and I sign it and I put the value, and I remember I put 21 million euros, and I put 21 because that's how old I was.
Yeah.
Right.
21.
So I was 21, dude, and so I thought that was funny, right? And the stencil is just a piece of cardboard, right? That is painted in gold, right? But
Yeah.
it's the story, the
You
value.
wanted to have validation that you are the person.
Yeah, so it's like the value, right? Of
Yeah, of
of the
course.
artwork. That's really the. So, anyways,
Where is that cardboard at?
oh, I have it.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Bring it over soon.
Oh no, no.
20
Yeah. So then, anyways,
So you ship it over.
yeah, I shipped it to him. I sent the paperwork, and then the following week, the museum publishes my name and their website. Like, it's real. Like, we're giving them a show. Like, holy fuck! So now it's like more. It's like throwing wood on the fire. Like, it's just fucking. So now it's like he painted the Picasso. He's on the run from the U.S. government. And now the Museum of Bellas Artes is giving him a show. Like, what the fuck is going on right now, you know?
Yeah.
So,
You're having that momentum.
holy shit, dude. Like, the world was like, you know, anything, you know? Like, the world was looking at me. Like, and so then, you know, as the exhibition, there's still like 3 months until the exhibition. So, the day before the exhibition, I remember that I told the curator that I wasn't gonna go, right? Because I was on the run, you know.
Yeah.
Like you're announcing my name, and I'm gonna have an exhibition in the museum, and if I'm there, the cops are gonna be there, like
Yeah.
promoting it, right? So like, fuck no. So then the last day, I was like, fuck it. If this is how my movie ends, if this is how that I get arrested,
Yeah.
then it's perfect. I'll be arrested in the museum. Like that's a story in itself.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a sweet story.
Okay. So the night before the exhibition, I get on a bus, and I get on the bus, and all night I'm traveling. And in the morning, I remember when the sun was coming out, I started seeing, the first thing I recognized was the graffiti in the streets
Yeah.
I'm getting into Mexico City, and every single fucking corner is graffitied. Like, I've been to New York, right? Like several times, and I almost feel like Mexico City is, if not at that level of graffiti, or maybe
They
even
dominated it.
bigger, maybe even bigger, dude. Because
Yeah.
like it's fucking everywhere, like every little. So, it was this moment for me of like,
I'm gonna be okay.
Validation.
dude, it felt like, do you know who Dionysus is?
It's a
Dionysus is
goddess.
like the god of like wine and like festivity, and anyway, there's this sculpture, the sarcophagus of Dionysus. Is this Dionysus carved in this marble, and then there's just like a crowd around him. There's some nymphs, and there's like people carrying wine, and there's people carrying fruit, and there's
Yeah.
people just playing the music, and it just
Like an orgy.
it's like
That's how you
it's
felt.
like the life of a party. Like, it's this energy, right? And it felt like, okay, here I am. Like, I'm in this bus. I'm being welcomed by this graffiti. I'm going into this museum, the most elite museum. They're gonna giving me a show because of graffiti. You know what I mean? There's this like spiritual moment for
Yeah.
me. And then when I got to the museum, uh, I'd been to Mexico, but I didn't know that the museum district. And when I got there, uh, and I walked into the museum, and it was early. The exhibition wasn't until like 7 or 8, right? And I got there like at 4, and I told the curator, uh, like, he was like in shock that I was there, right? Because
He invited you.
Well, yeah, but I told him that I wasn't gonna
No
be there.
way.
I told him I wasn't gonna be there.
Was there a reward?
So yeah, there's already like, I don't know, like, but there's already like at least like 20 grand at least. But anyways, the point is, um, he said, "Hey, Uriel, well, the show doesn't start till like three more hours. Like, you should go check out Frida Kahlo's house. It's right here and around the block." Like,
Yeah.
so I went. I was in Frida's house in Diego Rivera's studio, and I was inviting strangers to my show that I was about to have. You know, and I remember when I walked into the museum, uh, it was packed. It's this like 3-story museum. It was packed of people, and it was like, you know, it felt like that movie. It felt like I made it as
Yeah.
an artist. Like, it felt like I was. And the weirdest thing though was that, like, I didn't know a single soul there, right? Like, none of my friends were there. None of my family was there.
Yeah.
But there's all these people who knew about my art and were there at that moment and taking pictures and stuff. And it was a very, like, it was a beautiful day.
Did it inspire you to do what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's like, like I said, there's no one way to like make it in art. Then, you know, and that was kind of like, that's just my story.
Yeah. And did you get caught eventually?
Yeah. So then, party finished that night. The next day, I got invited to some friends that I met there to Cuernavaca. And then from there, I had some money. I had gotten paid for the exhibit, and then I was selling artwork too. Like it was easy for me to sell artwork.
Yeah, everybody knew you now.
Yeah, it was like, and if they didn't, I would tell them my story, and they were down. They're like, "What do you need?" Like, so. I was just kind of bartering with like that power. I was like, a cousin of mine jokes all the time. He's like, cuando te preguntan de qué vivías, Uriel, like, ¿qué vivías? And, like, he says, diles, de la conquista. But it's
that's
true
good.
though. But
Yeah,
it's true.
so
though.
that's where the name came from.
Yeah, well, the Conquista that's what I wrote on the Picasso. That's what I painted on the Picasso. So after that, I adopted that as my name, as my artist name.
Oh, wow.
But it's in reference of the Inquisition. Right?
Yeah.
So like the
Spanish.
European, yeah, the influence, and then that story, and Picasso is also from Spain,
Yeah.
right? And me being of like Mexican or
Native
Mexica,
American.
Mexica, whatever, yeah, whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah.
Like, this native descent, and then so it when it when it you know when it collapses, no, not collapses, when it like collides
Yeah.
with the Picasso story, it becomes this other,
It's like a full circle.
yeah. But I mean, but it's America too, right? So I'm like, it's a story for America as well, right? So
So I feel like you were creating your own marketing with your own art.
oh yeah, graffiti is marketing, dude. Like, think about it. Think about it. When you drive through the highway and you see this billboard, it looks real nice because a graphic designer photoshopped it and it looks real clean and this. That's a form of graffiti,
Yeah.
you know? They're fucking putting something in your eyes, they're fucking raping your eyes, dude, and they see my product. You know what? Maybe next time that you're at the bar, you might buy my product, right? Like that's, dude. You look, I open a website. Like I just got this magazine this week, you know, and like doom, doom, doom. Like I just open, boom, boom, like automatically, boom. Like next time you go to the store, that little moment that you saw that is engraved in your mind, and it might sway you to do this. Graffiti is the same thing. Art is the same thing.
It's a form of expression.
Yeah, and so
Art is a
so
form of expression.
think about it. Like back in the day, like graffiti artists would just write their name everywhere so that people could know their name, right? Like that's literally it's marketing, right? It's for
Yeah.
marketing.
Michelle loves
It's the
Tony.
same thing. To me is the same thing, you know. Like
Yeah.
having taken my graphic design classes and my film classes and my photography classes and all those things, I understand what this is, right?
message.
And if you could really use those tools and those understand the color palettes and the rhythms, and
Mm-hmm.
then you can influence anyone to do anything, really.
So is there a show that's coming up where people can learn more about you and your paintings and actually see what you're all about?
My social media, or my phone number, my website.
Your name
Everything
is
is public.
Uriel
Yeah, my name's Uriel Landeros.
Landeros.
Everybody,
What better known as
everybody,
Conquista.
everybody calls me.
Now I want to know about this. How come you're Conquista, but how did you come up with the Conquista name? Do you feel like that you can relate with the actual
No,
Conquistas?
No,
As
no,
like,
no.
like you were him in your
So
past life?
no. So it's more of like taking power of that word.
Conquering.
So no, changing the meaning of the word. So when I
What
was
the
when I was
meaning
a
of the word
kid,
to you?
so when I was a kid, and I would read the story about Christopher Columbus and Hernan Cortez.
Simón Bolívar.
To me, that was like when the black kids read the story of slavery.
Yeah.
To me, you know. So when I would read these stories, I'm like, okay, look at this guy with blonde hair and stuff, and he's killing the brown guy. Like, what the fuck, right?
He was Sancho Panza
So
all over again.
me as a kid, being in that classroom and reading this, like, you know, and then I'll read the word conquista. That's what the word conquista meant to me at
Yeah.
that moment, right? At that moment of my life. So when I painted Conquista on Picasso,
Yeah.
and I bring back the theme of history, really that's the theme of history. Like forget
It
art.
repeats
Forget
itself.
art. Like we're not even talking about art yet. Like
Yeah.
history. And now, okay, Picasso is from Spain and this kid is from South Texas. You know, like what's going on right now? There's a conversation happening right here. And the curators and the elite motherfuckers who actually understand that like
What is
painting is a visual poem. It's not just like some scribble or whatever. No, like there's deeper meaning to these things, right? Like there's scholars who like study this, right? It's not just, like I can write 10 books out of one painting, right?
Yeah.
Like if you really like understand, right? And so we're putting it on this like global platform, this dialogue about the Inquisition and this Mexican kid who they're trying to like push and say, oh, he's not an artist. He's a graffiti terrorist. He's just, they're trying to disown, discredit. And I'm talking about how, hey, there's no superstars that have my skin color,
Yeah.
right? All these like super famous art.
Picasso's white?
Warhol's white, Dali's white, Leonardo da Vinci's white. Like
The only one is Diego Rivera.
Diego Rivera's Jewish, white.
Well, he's still
He's not.
He's so
but
white.
You know what I'm trying to say though? I'm trying to like, and why not? You know, when I show you these textiles, come
It
on,
means a lot to
Picasso
you.
couldn't do this.
Yeah.
Picasso couldn't do this. You know?
No, he
No.
can't.
So that it doesn't mean that people in my color don't, that we're not artists. It's just that there's still this like
They're suppressing you.
there's still this like almost invisible fucking form of racism and classism.
I'm glad you're
And
saying that because it's true.
and now I'm here, motherfuckers. And then they ask me, why did you paint the Picasso?
Who do you
Like,
think you are, or whatever.
yeah.
No. But look,
You guys fucking defaced, Mount Rushmore that was a holy mountain for the Native Americans.
Yeah.
It already had the faces of our grandfathers, right?
Yeah.
And now that's a form of graffiti,
Yeah.
right? But who's ready to have that conversation, right? So now Conquista doesn't mean means something else. Conquista now means like you
oh shit.
guys. like but you know what I mean? No, but you know what I mean? No, but Conquista now means like, it doesn't mean
It's like
oppressor, like, it means Conquista is this art thing. Conquista is this like, now it's like this
a revolution.
fucking energy.
Seeing more positive.
You consider
Yeah,
yourself a
now it's,
revolutionary.
exactly. A revolutionary in many forms.
And now you have made. Tell us about how many people contacted you from like New York,
All over the
Beijing,
world,
China,
all over the world.
Spain.
All over-
Everybody wanted to
You
get
can
piece of
still,
the
to this
piece of
day, look,
cardboard art.
to this day, I have this other friend who's really famous, right? And we would joke about our cards and like, how famous do you have to be up to like, and
One up each other.
no, yeah, and it was just this cool thing, but it was a cool thing, right? And he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make my card where I don't even put my number. I'm just gonna put my name, just my name. I'm gonna put my name. He's like, look me up. You know what I mean? He's like, if you're that famous, then you made it, right? So then, well, but we would do that though. We would do that to challenge each other, right? And then one time he was like, no, you know what? Like, I'm not even gonna give a card anymore. Like, you don't even get a card, like it's like, you just look me up. What's your name? Look me up. You know what I mean? Like
Do you have TikToks?
yeah. No, but this is before TikTok and Instagram and social media, right? So, and then now it's just like, like now you just take a picture of me and find me on the internet. It's like, no, but the point being is, like, I still look up my name on Google from different parts of the world, just different, even here in the States, and I'm still finding articles that I haven't read.
Yeah.
And this has been more than a decade. To this day, you go to page 10 and there's still.
It's still going on.
So you accomplished what you were looking for then.
No, I mean, I didn't even know this was gonna happen. This wasn't the reason why.
But you said you
I was
mentioned.
doing this because I was getting high on the bridge, and I was like, I'm gonna die, and I was like thinking like,
Do my life.
that's why. That's why.
You were digging.
This was just the result.
Yeah.
This has just happened, right? Like the museums, that just happened, right? Like I was just, fuck yeah, let's go tonight, like we just drank a 24-hour, and then like I just, and then like we're gonna go paint, and then the next day, like we see it and we take a picture, and that's cool. Like that's it, That's my story.
No, but I wanted to touch base a little bit on how do you feel that this has changed your life?
Oh no, I mean, this is my life now. I mean,
Right, but
like,
when you
there's-
made when you did
obviously it's.
you did the crime and now
Yes, and then I went to jail. They gave me a graffiti felony, and
how many years?
they made me serve 2 years, no parole, no nothing, just 2
What
years.
did you do when you were in there? Did you teach art or did you talk about art? You never talked about it?
No, honestly, they had me in super seg because since I was considered a flight risk, like when you go to prison, they make you take all these like IQ tests, right? I lied on all of them, I would put B B B B B on all of them and like like I was like you're not gonna know, you're not gonna like measure my, my brain, fuck you, I'm not gonna give you my information.
That's very
So, but most people were all dumb and they would just, take the test. And then, so anyways, they classified me to where like most of the time I was by myself.
Yeah.
So, and so I would just be in a room by myself, and I would just be reading and drawing every day.
Oh,
So
wow.
they made me a fucking beast. You know what I mean? I'm just there reading and fucking. I was already doing that in college, right?
Yeah.
And now they really just put me in a room I can't even leave.
Nice
Like
to meet you.
yeah, like just hey, here's go check out another book, whatever. Like, but that made me a beast. Like I already knew how to draw, but okay, you forced me to just okay, let's drawing of the day. Like
Practice.
yeah. By the time I got out, I can draw anything. That's why I painted that church. That's
Oh,
a
let's
result.
talk about the church.
That's a result of like you made me a fucking beast. You know what I mean? Like by doing that, by putting me in
They
jail.
give you your own trade. Any man who
Yeah,
has his own
they
trade has a
just
stage.
yeah.
Even it doesn't matter where you
fuck it,
are.
I don't have to worry about nothing. I'm just here. They're gonna feed me. I'm just here. Like I can't leave. They don't, and they had me in super sec because they thought I was gonna escape, and they would move me. They moved me to 5 different maximum penitentiaries around the state, and they would move me every like 3 or 4 months because they thought that I was gonna like brainwash the people there and make them work for me or make them like whatever I would
Prison anyway, really.
like yeah like I would like in their minds they're like if you're there
The guard
for
changed.
too long,
Who knows?
yeah, I'm gonna brainwash the people there.
Because you were smarter than them.
Yeah, and then they would just move me to different prisons so that I would never do that, right?
Yeah.
That was part of my punishment. So
Wow.
So then, where can people find some of the paintings that you've done around the valley?
well,
I know
we're
there's
here.
one here in
There's here one
Lots of them
in
here.
Backdoor Modern Vintage that I just recently painted.
They're all
And
over the place.
there's one in Alamo that I'm working on right now, and the landmark and tower. That's also a historical landmark.
San Benito.
San Benito Conjunto Museum. There's also the famous the world famous graffiti wall in Edinburgh. The McAllen Flower Shop in Main Street in '83, and then they can come to the gallery, like my gallery,
What's it called?
the Phoenix Gallery in McAllen, and I have a bunch of my work there. That's also my studio.
Can people go there any day, or how does that work?
Yeah, they just contact me.
Show you got
Contact me, and then I'll give you an hour or two,
But also
depending on who you are.
about how you're changing the art movement and the culture of art as
Well-
far as empowering
well-
fellow artists like Andro, Rojas.
So to me right now,
Everybody together.
the Valley is Hollywood before it becomes Hollywood.
Westico would.
That's the
Yeah.
Valley.
West-
No, seriously, look, all my realtor friends, New York, California, Florida, Austin, all the like cool spots, like or just people just from all over the country, they're all moving to the Valley because it's cheap, because there's no crime, because there's no homeless people, because it's new, because it's next to Mexico, because the beach is here, because Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, lives here now, and SpaceX, and I see all this, right? It's fucking fast. Like it's fast, dude. Like I cannot go to HEB anymore without looking at Teslas everywhere.
Yeah.
But also, we did do a show. We've done 2 shows with Elon Musk. Actually, Elon had a fashion show, a Christmas party at the island at Schlitterbahn. And man, he knows how to throw a party. We got involved with Nolan Novato out of Brownsville. He's like an up and coming, like, he's a Balenciaga, walks the runway fashion guy.
He's the model.
And also, so Nolan invited me, and I did a fashion show for the, because most of the people that work for him are, gay. So they wanted me to bring a show. So we did like a binary show. It was, you couldn't tell. Everybody was like, the men were wearing women's clothes, the women were wearing men's clothes, and we put on this amazing show. Well, Uriel and I got together, and they told us, oh, you can't do this. You cannot mix up all, like, because he's been studying all of the companies. And they're like, no, don't mix up the logos. This is all SpaceX. Well, Uriel made this a phenomenal code. Let me go get it. And we put all the logos on there.
Like
but
Neuralink, SpaceX,
5 minutes before the show, and
Tesla.
I wore that thing, and everybody, like, they were following us with the camera, and like, good job, and like,
Yeah.
we came out, and
And
Elon's been sending me messages up and down, but I don't think it's him. Who cares if it is or it isn't? Eventually, we're going to be working with, the higher ups, because I mean,
we are the art scene, right?
we are the art scene, and
Like-
because what we're doing is we're mixing fashion, photography, music, art, musicians,
And then-
food,
yeah.
all the good stuff, like the party. We're bringing it all, and like Andy Warhol. No, I don't want to come out because it's about the end. But
No,
when
but
we did
yeah.
that show, we walked in there, and man, we stole the show.
Yeah,
So-
everybody got quiet for a moment, right? Like the show
whoa.
started, and it's amazing to see. I mean, I help paint some clothes, right? But I mean, Yvette and Nolan, they're the ones who like really like this.
When
you
we
know?
get together, it's a
So,
powerhouse.
Yeah, and
Art.
and I help them paint some stuff, but like,
Yes,
but just watching the fashion show from its inception to its delivery was fucking amazing, dude. Like, to me, and it's hard for me to like, I see something like, oh wow, like I'm really like impressed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
and having that opportunity just to see kind of Nolan and them run around, like, take this off, add this, cut this, thought like, give me these little garments, get like change your like necklace, or your makeup is fucked up, like change your hair, like
Yeah.
dude, it was beautiful.
All that energy.
Is beautiful. Like, to me, there's like a painting to me. You're making this person look like this beautiful thing, right? So then, or I mean, they're beautiful, but you're just kind of like make them glamorous, right?
Yeah.
And then the show lasted 20 minutes.
Really?
And so these guys are like the whole day. There's all these geniuses here doing this and doing that, all day working. And then it's just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just everybody's so high. Everybody's like, oh my God, like, look at this person. Everybody looks like the future. Everybody's dressed like androids or something. I don't even know how to explain it, And then it's done. And everybody got quiet for a moment.
Uh-huh.
Did we just see that, right? And then boom, and then the music starts again. And I'm like, what? Like, what? Anyways, and then we just partied with the SpaceX.
So I want to go back to what you mentioned. You feel like the Valley is Hollywood before it was.
Oh, yeah. So I just see it. I see it. I see the future. I know where. I see how fast my neighborhoods are developing. I see how, being a local and having lived in a metropolitan city,
Show that we made.
and then coming back. See, so this is like a little Tesla one, so.
Show it. Let me find it.
These,
Isaiah, do you know where that red one is?
right?
Nice.
And these garments, like, then. Yeah, so.
Oh, that one has the different look.
This one has several. No, but this is all Starlink. But no, Yvette has a red one that she was wearing. It's like an evil genius.
No, I saw it. It reminded me of like a villain, like Lord Vader or something.
Yeah.
Or like a matador.
Yeah, so I just, a lot of people think, oh, I have to leave the valley to make it or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a little bit of my life. And I mean, I went to go study in a different city, and then I came back. But now is not the time to leave the valley. Like, the world is coming to the valley,
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's, it was not even a question for me to come back to my backyard.
To your roots.
Yeah, my backyard, really.
And I saw a interview, I believe, where you say that you want to help the community by not having fear. What did you mean by that?
What interview, or what did you? I don't remember.
I don't remember which one.
But I mean, I probably meant like I am always making all these little quotes, right?
Yeah.
And one of them is como Conquista tu miedo, right?
Yeah,
So-
something like that.
So people ask me, like, what does conquista mean? Right? Conquista means a lot of things, right? It can mean It could mean like when you accomplish something, when you accomplish a goal. It could mean, you know. So conquista tu miedo for me is like whatever your challenge is, whatever the fuck you're going over with, get over that shit. Like whatever you gotta do, do it. Like So
together and we're like, yeah, we already knew without
Yeah.
talking to each other.
listen
We're
to your
gonna do
inner.
it. The more they tell us no, the more we want to do it.
Yeah.
Don't ever take no as your first answer.
Yeah.
Hello.
Listen to your inner child, and like follow your heart. Like I guess
Stole the show.
that's real.
They had all these like he spent
right,
like $1 million,
Wow.
and we were the special guests.
So fear your conquest your fears. Conquista tus miedos.
Sí.
Yeah, that you shouldn't fear anything. Never.
Grab your balls and just fucking do it. You know what I mean?
More powerful, fearless. Make that fear to fearless. So
I don't know.
the show is phenomenal.
But thank you for your
No,
time.
thank you.